Hi everyone, and welcome to today's Hangout on Air. So my name is Aurélie and I am a performance specialist focusing on dynamic remarketing and auto bidding in Europe, the Middle East and Africa. I am dialing in from the Paris office where I'm located, and today I'm going to provide an overview of Google Performance Display Solution, Dynamic Remarketing for all verticals. So let me just share my screen so you can get the presentation. That will just take 1 second. Okay, here we go. So yes, today we are going to focus on this special Google Performance Display solution. And you can leave me questions for me if you are watching the video from the J+ page, but not from YouTube. We will also be recording this video, so if you want to see it again at the end or share it with your colleagues and friends, it will be completely possible. The first thing you need to understand if you really want to make the best of dynamic remarketing, you firstly need to really understand who are your users, who is your audience if you want to engage with them in the right way. Consumers are now spending more than 5 hours a day with digital, which for the first time is actually more than television viewing. So if you want to deliver business results, it's now critical to establish an authentic connection through a personalized approach by moving away from a purely conversion-centric model to a customer-centric, data-driven advertising model. Ads are way more effective when you show someone a message that corresponds to their declared interest. And with display, we actually have many signals that we can leverage. And some of the most effective ones come from real-time data about what a user viewed on your site. So with dynamic remarketing, we use this data to re-engage with people who've previously visited pages on your website and encouraging them to take action with highly relevant messaging. So once you have understood who is your target audience, you really want to engage with them in the right way, with the right message at the right time. 95% of users don't complete the action desired by marketers upon their first site visit. And 96% of visitors just leave a website without converting. 70% from those are actually from the shopping carts. They just abandon it without purchasing. So this leaves a huge bulwark for dynamic remarketing. It means that if you place just a tag across your site and re-engage with those past visitors, you are closing the loop with users who came in from all sources, including organic and direct types in, who you may have not had a chance to engage in conversation before. So what is currently your conversion rate, and what is the right strategy to get those customers back? So, sorry about that. So the first thing I want to show is a very quick introduction to AdWords Dynamic Remarketing. It's actually a solution which allows you to create a complete holistic 360 audience strategy with complete freedom, transparency, and control. And the strategy will also be completely tailored to your business. It means that not only you will be able to drive sales by retargeting down the funnel users with specific product and offers, but the solution will also help you to re-engage with up-funnel people by leveraging the users that went to your homepage and also went to your YouTube channels and viewed the video, but maybe didn't have the chance to go more down in the funnel. You will also be able to run loyalty campaigns because you can completely integrate your CRM data and get the user segments and retarget them with specific message and promotions. And you will also be able to focus on the high margin users. If you wish to just share a specific message to them, this will completely be possible. For example, let's say you are a hotel and your high margin segment is the family with the kids. You will be able to just identify this audience and maybe display specific offers like free access to the pool or free breakfast for those very important audience for you. The solution is also completely integrated with Google Analytics, which means that you will be able to go way deeper into the segmentation and leverage engagement data like how much time a user has spent on the website, how many pages they've seen, and also play with sequential segmentation. You will be able to create all of these audiences directly from the AdWords UI, which means that you have full control on the audience that you wish to select and the combination you want to play with. So now a quick overview of this very cool product. So the first thing that you have is you need to share your product catalog, and you do so by uploading the feed into the business data center in AdWords. Then once we have these information, the user that go on your website, the information will be captured by the tag, which will then send the information to the cookie, which will be used to segment the list inside AdWords. So, and this will enable us to actually display a very personalized tailored banner to the right people at the right time. On average, beta clients running static remarketing campaigns who then implemented dynamic remarketing, so their conversion rates more than double, and the CPA fall under 60% for their remarketing campaigns. So you could ask, why is that so powerful? It's not just about the cost per acquisition, but delivering dynamic creatives based on real-time data about one person is a very powerful way to truly connect with them. So now, this solution is available for every vertical. So when you get started, it's very important that you select the right business use case, because the product team created very specific feeds and ads layout for a specific use case. The recommendation engine is also tailored to the use case. So for example, with the layout, if you run the hotel and rental business use case, the layout includes actually star ratings when they are provided in the feed, and that will be displayed in the creative. So it's very important that you select the right one. In case your business use case is just not covered by those ones, there is a custom one that can be used for every type of businesses. So what do you need to start using dynamic remarketing? The solution is actually based on a triptych, which is a tag, a feed, and a creative. And you really need these three elements to make it work. The tag will send the user information to the cookie, which is then used for segmentation. The feed is the product library and will then provide all of the right information inside the creative. The creative is a layout picked for one impression for one user. So everything is very specific, custom, and tailor-made. So now we are going to deep dive into each of those elements, but we won't go into too much details. There is a specific session tomorrow at 10:45 CET, which is called the Tech Talk, all you need to know about tags and feeds for all verticals. So stay tuned tomorrow to really go into details into those elements. Now, let's start with the feed. The first thing that you need to do is to go into the AdWords Help Center page, create a feed for your dynamic display ads. You will then need to select the appropriate business case and read closely the technical specification, because some specifications are for all feeds and some of them are very specific to the business use case. For example, the feeds can be created as CSV, TSV, XLS, and then uploaded into AdWords. Rows are product and services, columns are attributes. So once you have read all of the technical specs that you need to know, you will be able to actually download a specific template for your specific business use case. So now I wanted to show you an example for the flight use case. So this is actually the template that you can get directly from the Help Center page that I previously showed you. And please note that all of the columns need to be inside the feed. The template needs to stay as it is with all of the titles in this right order, even if you don't use the columns. Some columns are not mandatory, but they are recommended. But in case you plan to not use them, you still need to have them, even if they are empty, to have the ingestion successful. So the destination key, flight description, and final URL are the three columns which are mandatory. The destination ID, which is the primary key, and it will actually trigger the impression. So it's very important that you provide data in there, and that this data exactly matches the information that you pass from the tag. Then the description will be used inside the creative. So again, it has to be accurate and it shouldn't be too long, no more than 25 characters. And the final URL will be the URL that link the user to your website. So it's important also that you provide a relevant one that is in adequation with the product, basically, because you don't want to send your user to a different page. And finally, the image and price are not mandatory, but very much recommended because it just boosts the CTR and the performances. So once you have your feed ready, and again, you can just create it in a regular CSV, you can just go inside the AdWords UI and download it directly from. If you go into the UI, you can just go into the share library, then on the second step, press the plus data button and choose the same use case, like your use case, your business use case, sorry. And then all of the feed will be just uploaded inside the UI. You will be able to review it and see it. In case there is an error or something to change, you will get an error message, which will just tell you what you need to change in order to get a proper ingestion. There is also a possibility to schedule automated updates for the feed, and that can be very useful if your product information get updated frequently. In order to benefit from it, you will need to contact your Google representative, and this should be set up directly in the backend. The second thing that is mandatory is the tag. And our solution allows lots of flexibility and is completely integrated with other products. So in order to start, you will need at least a remarketing tag with custom attributes to get the information that we need from the user to make the creative dynamic. And you will need a tracking tag just to measure how the performance of the campaigns. We strongly recommend to implement those tags through a tag management system, like Google Tag Manager, for example, just to make the management of the tags more simpler. You can see that on average, on the Fortune 500 companies website, there are more than 63 third-party tags, which is a lot and a lot to manage. And tagging is an ongoing process. More than 50% of the sites that have manually implemented tags will need to make at least, in average, 6 modifications during 1 year. So that's a lot, and that is why we strongly recommend to use a tag management system just to make all of those changes and modifications way easier and to not overload your IT department. So again, GTM is free, mobile ready, and very easy to use. And finally, if you have Google Analytics, you can definitely leverage those tags for dynamic remarketing. You will need to update them and to make sure that the right information has passed. And you will also be able to use analytics for all of the measurements. And finally, before going to the 3 parts of our triptych, which is the creative, you will need to create a campaign inside AdWords. So please just make sure that you select the display network only for the remarketing purpose. And also that you actually that you actually enable the dynamic part. So you can just, once your campaign is created, you can just go inside the settings, and there is this Use Dynamic Ads section, which you will need to edit. And afterwards, you will need to choose the business type that is yours. And then you will see the feeds that you have uploaded in the business data center that will appear. So you will be able to choose the feed that you want for this specific campaign. It's very important that you do so, because otherwise you won't be able to see, you won't be able to create your creative, basically. So once you have this set up, you can just go again into the UI and create an ad. You will be directed to the ad gallery, so just make sure to select the dynamic ad. For this specific example, I have chosen the flight use case, and this is why I only see in the dynamic ad builder the flight use case. For this presentation, we will go inside how to create banners, but it's very important that you also create text ads. It's strongly recommended for performances, as usually they get very good results. And also you will be able to access some exclusive GDN inventory. So we strongly recommend for performance to also plug text ads. You might want to just add them to a separated ad group for measurement of the performance and optimization. So once we are inside our display ad builder, some elements are dynamic and pulled from the feed, and some other elements will just be static. This tool will allow you to very easily create custom banners with various layouts and sizes. In this example, I have the choice in between 18 layouts, which are available in 10 sizes in both Flash and HTML5. Some elements will come from the feed, like the description, image, and the price, and other will be statics and optionals, like the logo, for example, and if you want to add a disclaimer or the text button, shop now in my example, those are static elements and will be the same on all banners. So you can actually go deeper into the customization thanks to editable elements. You will be able to select the color, the size of the text, the shape of the buttons, the rollover. It's a very powerful tool, and which allow you to do lots of customization. To edit the dynamic elements, just make sure to go into the advanced fields by scrolling down the left sidebar once you are inside the creative. The changes that you make will actually be replicated to all sizes and layouts selected for easier creative management and consistency. So don't hesitate to really play with the tool because you can go quite deep into personalization, and it's actually nice to have your own kind of layout. Then we recommend to use all the available layouts to benefit from full layout rotation and optimization. But if for some reason you just really don't want one, for maybe brand guidelines, for example, there is actually a tool which is called My Preferred Layout. So it's accessible directly once you are inside the creative in the display ad builder. And you just need to click on this little pencil to see this dashboard appear. And then you will be able to play with the filters, which will just allow you to select the layout that you specifically want. So you can see in this example that you have multiple items, you can choose it or not, and also mobile. But also you can just scroll down the different type of layout that you have and just choose to exclude a specific one thanks to the cross. So all of the layouts that we have are actually available in HTML5, which allow a full reach of users when they are browsing on the tablet or mobile. So by meeting customers on the mobile, we actually seen an increase of 15% in conversion volume of dynamic remarketing campaigns. So it's very important that you just choose, if in case you created your layout in Flash, just make sure that also the HTML5 version is available. So now I just wanted to speak a little bit about the recommendation engine, because the recommendation engine is really the brain computing all data into one single best impression for one user. So as you might know, algorithms are really Google DNA, and this warfare have been leveraged into the AdWords product recommendation engine. It will just pull the products and services from your feed and determine the best mix of products for each ad based on the popularity and what visitors viewed on your site. So for retail, for example, over 17% of our dynamic remarketing conversions actually comes from recommended products. So in order to show the most relevant one for one user, we actually use a large number of signals, which are tailored to each vertical. So again, very important to choose the right use case, to just feature the high converting products, including things like product that the user viewed, top performing products, customer demographics, interest, and frame of mind. And we also tailor the signals depending on the vertical to ensure that we really deliver the best performance possible. And finally, I just wanted to share a specific case study that I actually work on in the early days of dynamic remarketing for all verticals. So Promo Vacances is a French online travel agencies, and they wanted to focus on their holiday packages. So what they did is they decided to launch dynamic remarketing on their carte abandonner audiences. To ensure the performance of the campaign, they wanted to measure the incrementality of the campaigns. So they set up an A/B test by splitting the user list that they had. So one part of the audience would have dynamic remarketing banners, and the other one would have static charity banners. So after a couple of months, we actually found out that dynamic remarketing drove 3 times higher click-through rates, leading to 10 times more conversions than static banner ads, while reducing the cost per acquisition. So following that success, Promo Vacances decided to implement the same setup on some other brands that they have, Abbé Croisière and Amanda 2. So we are approaching the end of our session. So I just wanted to summarize in 4 quick points what is very important in order to run successful dynamic remarketing campaigns. So the first thing is really get to know your users, understand your audience, understand your funnel steps, and also get to know when does your user leave your website. Then the second thing that is great with this solution is that you can completely craft your strategy. You just need to think of what is really important for you, what are your KPIs, and then there is an endless possibilities with the dynamic remarketing solutions, as well as Google Analytics if you really want to go deeper. You can also really think of delivering the best creative and specific offers and promotion to a specific segment. And again, you are in full control of what you do because you are the one deciding on the strategy and you are the one creating your segment of audiences and getting some combination by putting together several audience lists if you wish. Then the third thing is really personalize your layout. Just play with the tool and start creating your own layout, but also allow yourself to use the optimization engine by just using as much layout as possible, because again, one layout will be delivered to one specific user. So it's important that the tool has enough freedom to optimize, to get the chance to optimize for one specific user. Then finally, what is very important is just measure your campaign, understand how good it works, and then optimize and expand it. Because we have just seen dynamic remarketing, but Google offers lots of other audiences solutions, which can be definitely very good to try, and that works very well with dynamic remarketing. So now we are going to go and address some questions. So, which feed information is most essential for the auction? So maybe I can just go back for this question into my, sorry. So I will just go, bear with me. Yes. So some information are mandatory. Your campaign will just not work if you don't have them, which is destination ID, flight description, and final URL. So those ones, you need to include them, like end of the question. But then I would strongly recommend to use images. Even if you don't have images, you can just go into free image banks that are just available and are free of rights, and use them. And if you can even host them on Google Drive and put the link inside the feed, just in order to get the best CTR. In my example, I have a flight from London to Paris. I think that if I add a nice image of Paris, this will just really boost the click-through rate and really trigger the user interaction. Then this is very specific to flight. So you have other things that you can do for other business use case, but the price, I think, is very important also, because once the user have been on your website and they have checked the product that they want, to just make them convert, it's usually quite good to show them the price and even to add a little bit of discount, because again, I think it will depend of where your user is in the funnel of conversion. But if your user is quite advanced, maybe you just want to push the conversion with a little 5% discount or free delivery, or again, why not free breakfast for a hotel? So I think the sale price is definitely important. So this is for the flights, but if you think of other use case like automotive, for example, you actually can include the address. So that could be quite powerful for the recommendation engine, because if you include the address, the recommendation engine will actually be able to leverage it to select the impression of the car dealers that could be the closest from the user. So that's something that you also really need to consider. So to summarize my answer, mandatory columns, of course, and then I would strongly advise to add image and price, at least. Okay, so I think we have a bit more time for maybe another questions. So what would be the first step for me to set up a remarketing campaign, a dynamic remarketing? So I think the first thing that you really need to do is to think again of your KPIs and strategies. So what do you want to push? Is it sales? Or do you want to maybe re-engage with the up funnel users or push a specific strategy? You could also think of cross-sell, which works really well with dynamic remarketing. Let's say I am an online travel agency, so I could just take my list of flight buyers and push a hotel or push a specific activity. That works really well. But more concretely, the first thing that I really need to do is to check my website and start implementing the tags if they are not already there. And then another question, and I think we will finish with this one. Sorry, actually, I can just stop showing you my screen. Okay, yes. And so the final questions is, what are your recommendations regarding frequency capping? So my recommendation is don't add one. I would just strongly advise to start the campaign and plug a soft algorithm like ECPC, because the soft algorithm will actually take care of the frequency capping for you, which means that it will just take all of the data that we have and define what is the best frequency capping for one user. Because some user might only need 2 or 3, and some user might need 20 or 30. I'm just getting random numbers, but it's just to give you an idea that it's best to just use the algorithm, use the data when possible. So I will just set up my campaign, start it, and right away plug the ECPC bidding method, and not use frequency capping. Then if you are extremely cautious and extremely protective about your brand and product, you can definitely use it, but that would not be my recommendation. But again, the tool is completely in your control, so you can decide if you want to. So now we are at the end of the session, and the next session for the audience week will actually be the tech talk. All you need to know about tags and feed, which will happen tomorrow morning with the amazing Quiva. So just stay tuned for more hangout on the audience.